I like my newspapers like I like my men. At the bottom of a cage.
How do you guys prepare for a college show like this one?
Well, in a certain sense, we prepare by just having done a bunch of shows over the years. But Greg and I haven't really done that many two-person shows together.
No, we decided tonight we might not have ever done a two-person show together.
We've done shows for years, decades together in many incarnations, but never two. So this was maybe our first one.
Yeah, so we were just excited to do that.
So how do you guys find that you can still connect with the audience even when it's that size, like hundreds of people?
Oh, well, I think, you always connect with the audience no matter how far away they are, in the back row. Probably better than most other types of performances. Aside from stand-up, this is the only other thing where you are sort of living and breathing together. You're taking their suggestions, you're bringing them up on stage. So it's probably the most interactive show that they're going to see. You don't get to go on stage and give out suggestions for a song at a Broadway musical. You watch the entire performance, it's complete, and it's the same every night. So we sort of go with the audience on a journey. And so I think that bonds you together with your audience in a way that no other kind of performance does. It's way less adversarial than like a stand-up in a comedy club. Those people are drinking and they sit there and they kind of cross their arms and they're like, okay, funny boy, what you got? It's almost like they're judging you and you've got to force them to laugh. And here it's totally collaborative.
It's like a group effort.
Yeah.
So you guys are obviously veterans in the improv world. But what was the first time that you guys performed improv where you were like, hey, like this is something like I want to do, like this is what I can do?
And I was a teenager like you guys. I was 19 and there was an improv group at the cantina in my dormitory and I went and saw them play and I was like, oh, I can do that. And so they did an audience spot where they brought someone out of the crowd. So the next week I went and sat in the front row and they said, can we have a volunteer? And I jumped on stage and I did an improv with them. And then the next day, this will give you an idea of how long ago it was, I was playing pinball and in the student union, and my buddy Reed came up and said, oh, you want to be in the group? And that's how I learned to do it. I never went to the Groundlings or any of those schools. I learned from all the other kids at San Francisco State.
Actually, very similar. I was in college and saw a 3-person group at it was like a club restaurant kind of thing, not a real theater or anything. And I was just blown away. I laughed. I thought it was amazing. I wanted to do that. And then I was in a comedy group, and then started taking improv and got into a bunch of different groups when I moved to LA, and started doing.
And that's where
shows.
we met like 20,000 years ago. Not theater, the other one. Was it theater?
We probably met in 88, 89.
Right. And what was that group? Ellen and Forrest.
Theater Sports.
Theater Sports.
LA Theater Sports. Yeah.
Do you think that you can improve at improv?
Experientially, you can get more confident, but it's one of the only things that people get good at that you don't achieve greatness by repetition. If you're shooting a basketball, you get good by the sense memory of doing it exactly the same way every time. In improv, you have to take that funny joke, throw it away, and never do it again because you want to always, make it fresh and different. And really, on a certain level, improv is all about the creative way we deal with mistakes, because technically we don't have anything planned. So everything that happens from this moment on is a mystery, and so it's treated like a mistake because mistakes are just opportunities that you don't know what's going to happen. Mistake is when something happens that you didn't expect, but every moment in an improv is happening and you didn't expect it.
Improv is a beautiful metaphor for life.
It is.
Really, I firmly believe that.
People who say they can't improvise, it's like you're improvising all the time.
Every conversation you have, everything you do all day long when you're driving, you're improvising.
So what do you guys miss most about like the early days of Whose Line Is It Anyway, and that big chunk of your career?
I mean, Greg and I don't do as many of the new Whose Lines on CW as we used to do in the good old days, but it breathes life into all the other stuff that we do, all the live touring that we do, doing improv. He goes out with some of the guys. I go out with Colin a lot. And his stand-up, part of the momentum that keeps people coming to see us is the fact that we've had like 3 generations of human beings watch this as kids.
What I miss is not being told I was little when I started watching you.
Yeah.
Because now I always get that.
Yeah.
Now I'm this old and people go, I was so little when I started watching you.
I've been watching you forever.
Let's back into terminology.
All right, thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming.